background on me, I owned three Comfort Keepers franchises for just under 10 years. We had 250 caregivers, doing about 4,000 hours of care per week. And by the time I sold it in 2014, I had really identified just this huge gap in technology in basically all the homes that we were in. And so it really frustrated me that we were reacting to all these catastrophes instead of trying to help prevent them to begin with. And it was always when we weren't there, of course. I mean, when you have caregivers in the home, they're supposed to be there helping prevent these events. But when they're not, they're not. And I say it all the time, there's 168 hours in a week. And you can't be there all the time unless someone's doing 24/7 care. And then still a caregiver is running to the bathroom or doing whatever they have to do. And that person is still vulnerable. So technology is really the only way we can do 24/7 visibility into the situation to help prevent some of these things and certainly react quicker than if someone's just not in the house, right? And there's a lot of ways to really make sure that the circle of care is notified. And some people choose, listen, I want to be the first round of defense. And I literally just installed a device yesterday, where the son said, and this is the situation, he was in a very high-end building, residential building in Milwaukee. His mom in her 90s lives on the second floor. He lives on the 18th. And he's on the board of this association for this beautiful condo complex. And he said, one of the things that we're trying to do is reduce the number of fire engines that roll up for nothing and create havoc, and people get scared and they think there's a fire or whatever else might be. So he said, when the call center comes on, it's fine if they get in touch with my mom through the Pendant. And by the way, her first language is Italian, so that even makes things more difficult. But we worked that through because the call center has people who speak Italian, they're translators. But he said, I want to be the first call. So if something is pressed, I want the emergency call center to try to get in touch with my mom, and they can speak slowly and clearly in English. And if they have a translator, they can speak as loud and speak as fast as they want in Italian. But I don't want them to dispatch immediately. I want to be called. I can get the door person to come upstairs to my mom's place, or I can run downstairs, or, we have caregivers there, whatever. But we want to be the first line of calls before they dispatch EMS. So if you want to do that, that's fine, but it's on you, so that if they don't connect with you or your sister or your brother, they're definitely going to dispatch, and he's fine with that. So there are multiple ways that we can work this out with the call centers based on the individual, how they want it. And so that basically goes back to how we really differentiate. And what I do is I combine what we were doing as an in-home assessment for when we had the in-home care program with the technology assessment. So when we had caregivers and I knew that I had a client that loved a great omelet, I would say, oh, well, Amy makes a great omelet. Let's just put Amy in that house. Well, it's the same way with this, except with technology. We're doing these assessments. We're really digging in deep. We're going through, is there a fall risk? Is there nutritional issues? All these kind of things. Is there a detached garage, which means someone has to go outside? Is there laundry in the basement, which means they're going downstairs? All these things that can create these challenges for people, so that I can identify then the proper product. Once that product is handled or decided on, I either have it in stock and I can set it up right away, right literally at that meeting, or I can order it and come back and set it up. But then what we do is I program the equipment, I train the circle of care and the person how to use it, including actually pressing the button, so that emergency call center actually comes on over the device and speaks to us in a two-way voice, how they would do it normally if there was an emergency. Most of the people, and I'm sure you've all seen this, they will lay on the floor for 5 hours before they'll press any button, or longer, because they're afraid to press the button. They have no idea what's going to happen. Will they knock my door down? Will they rush in here? Will it be a big ruckus? And so they literally don't press the button. So if I can go through that with them and actually show them, okay, the other person on the other end is this lovely person who just wants to make sure you're okay. And if you're not, they're gonna call your contacts and or send EMS. And then in the notes, we're gonna have, what is the code for the garage, or what is the lockbox code, or where's the hidden key, or whatever, so they're not knocking your door down. And then we're going to just go through this whole process so that they're very comfortable and understand what's going to happen if they actually do press the button. And then I tell them, you should be testing this monthly, just so you're comfortable with it, so that if a chaotic event does happen, you're not like freaking out and forget to press the button or anything. So it becomes sort of a habit. So does that make sense for everybody, that I go through this much more detail than anybody else doing this, because most of the products that like this are purchased either on these 2 a.m. infomercials, or the adult children are fumbling through the internet trying to figure out what's the best fit for their parents, and they don't really even know. And then they get them delivered to the front porch, and that product either goes under the bed, it gets returned, or worse, it gets plugged in and they just don't know how to use it properly. So that's the way we differentiate in Silver Maple Solutions. And that's why I'm really passionate about this. And a little piece of technology that's so affordable can solve so many of these problems. So the first product that I'll bring up it's called Ihelp. This is a device that literally sits in this little charger, and it's actually a magnet. So it gets literally sucked into there. It'll literally say, unit is charging, and it'll flash blue. This is a blue LED light around this button that'll flash while it's charging, and it'll be fully solid blue when it's fully charged. And then it also is really interesting because it can text the loved ones and literally say low battery, so that they can call mom and they say, hey mom, put your Ihelp on the charger, please. And it'll announce low battery too, so that person would be able to understand that it does have a low battery. These should be charged without fall detection every other day, with fall detection every day, because the fall detection does chew up the battery. The also nice thing about this is that the loved ones can text to a number the word track, and it will literally pop up on their smartphone a link to a map of exactly where the unit is. So if mom's out and she took a walk and she got lost and people are wondering where she is, you text track to it and you have literally a map of where mom is. The other thing you can do is if it gets lost in the cushions of a couch, you can also text the word ring to that number, and it'll ring annoyingly for about a minute until it shuts off. But so there's an interesting things there. The other thing that this has that almost no other product that I've seen does as well is it does a geofence. So if someone is really early stage dementia, and they would still remember to have the product with them, if they broke a geofence around their home, you would literally be able to know via text that they broke that geofence and they're wandering away. And then you can bring up the map and know where they were. Also being able to text if there's an emergency or a fall or anything to anybody on the call list. So this is a great product. It's also water resistant, wear it in the shower. People, what they do is they normally just put it in their shirt. Nobody even knows you have it on. So wonderful product. I have a ton of these out there, rarely if ever have an issue. This product is called Anelto. So this portion of it sits in this charging dock, right? And this is where the brains are. And this is what I was talking about again on Morning Blend the other day. But this is where the cellular, and by the way, back to Ihelp, it's fully cellular, and it can work on a home's Wi-Fi if their cellular connectivity isn't good. So I have a bunch of these in a senior community on Prospect Avenue in Milwaukee, and the cellular on the lower floors is just not great. So we just connected this to these to the Wi-Fi in the building, and they have good connectivity in the building. And then when they leave the building, if they do, it flips over to cellular. So this is an emergency button. This is a very interesting button that I'll explain in a second. And then these two are the pendants. So this pendant can either pop out of here and be worn on a, it's literally that big. It could be worn as a pendant on your neck, or this is a sort of a watch style, and it can be worn on the wrist. But look at how thin it is, right? It's just,
Cool.
and it doesn't need to be charged, and it's light and it's waterproof. Wear it in the shower. And this is so simple and easy, and it doesn't, I mean, no one even realizes that it's on really. Doesn't need to be charged ever. It has a 2-year battery life.
It's really
It
cool.
just works on a watch battery. The other thing that can be connected is an optional fall detection pendant, which is also not that big. This does not have to be charged either. It has a watch battery in the back that I install, so I know that this is a brand new battery when I send these out. This has automatic fall detection, but all of these devices are paired to this part. So while they're in the house, they can just keep this on the charger, just like that. And they would wear this, and if there's an event, they push this one.
Dialing the emergency response center now. To cancel this call, press and hold the emergency call button for 3 seconds. Your call has been canceled.
So obviously I canceled that. But if they leave the house, they just pop this in their purse or their pocket, and they have this on their wrist, and away they go. So it's really wonderful for people who maybe there's some dementia, they can't remember to charge anything. And it's just easy around your wrist if someone doesn't want to wear a pendant. So it comes with an app that the loved ones would have on their phone, and it looks like this. So I know exactly where this unit is all the time because there's the map of it, right? The other cool thing that this has, and I'm going to actually demonstrate this right now, is if I push this button, this message button, and I then record a message. Hi, I'm just recording for my virtual discovery demo day, right? So I recorded that. I push send. I name it, whatever. I'm going to send it now. I have to name it because maybe it's grocery shopping, maybe it's whatever, medication reminder, whatever it is. I'm just going to type in some nothing. Send message. It's going to confirm and then watch. So this dings and lights up, and then the person can just press this.
Hi, I'm just recording for my virtual discovery demo day.
Right? So a loved one can send a message to mom. Hey, mom, just telling you I love you. Or the grandchildren can record their voice and say, hey, grandma, time to take your medication. And you can do that as a recurring medication reminder. And this thing will go boop, 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 boop. So they push it. And that basically, when they push that, it's basically compliance, right? You're reminding them to do that. And so here's another way. So you know all of the battery life on each device, right? So if someone looks at this and say, hey, you know what? That handset, it's only at 30%. Send mom a quick note. Hey, mom, throw this on the charger. Stuff like that. So I love Untitled. It's great, and it's easy, and it has the option of the pendants that don't need to be charged. So this is next. So Remo is a great watch. It's a Samsung watch that they've basically wiped all the firmware off. So anything complicated is gone. So this also comes in this nice rose gold. Let's see if I can, all right? So either, I mean, I have plenty of women that get the black one too, but people like this rose gold as well. And the interesting thing about this watch is that, I guess if you put it right side up, you can do, it's got the watch, time and date, which actually people love. Then you could either swipe to get your pulse, then swipe to get steps. Haven't done much steps today. Battery life, and then the emergency. So here, it's not automatic fall detection. So you do have to press and you see that blue ring going around, it's actually, if you can hear this, it's it's vibrating and it's going to call, right? So it's actually calling, and it would literally have a two-way voice through the watch. It's cellular, it has GPS location, it has a portal so that the family can look at steps and pulse and things like that, so that if mom is usually walking 5,000 steps a day, and then you notice for a few days in a row she's only walking 500 steps in a day, guess what? Someone should reach out to mom and see if she's feeling it. Younger, more active person, maybe they're on the golf course and they want to make sure that someone would know if something happened, or if they're walking wherever by themselves, or just people who want something cooler than a pendant. And this is a great option because no one even knows what this is. It's not an emergency pendant. It's a watch that just happens to have the personal emergency response capabilities. This is a caption phone from CapTel. There's two programs, either a free program through the Americans with Disabilities Act, where if someone is hard of hearing and they can get a professional, a medical professional to state that on a form, the phone's free, the monthly is free. There's nothing at all that needs to be paid for, as long as you can get that professional to sign off, which is no big deal. There's literally someone on the other line, on the other side dictating, and they say there's about a 98% accuracy rate with this phone. It does need a hard line, and it does need Wi-Fi. There are some of their phones that don't need Wi-Fi, and they're actually coming out with some really cool new technology that they won't let me talk about yet. So you could either get it free through, if there's a professional that'll sign off on it. Otherwise, it's just 75 bucks for the phone. That's it. There's no ongoing cost at all. So, and you don't need anyone to sign off on it as long as you want, if you're okay spending the $75. The newest product I have is this little baby. It's the coolest thing. So this is called Live Care. I have a contract directly with all of these manufacturers, by the way. And this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So first, you've got this top button is literally PERS. Do you need help? Press yes or no. I'm obviously going to press no right now. But I pressed yes, and the emergency call center would come on through this device. It also has the ability to, and it's really meant for chronic care management for vitals. It comes with a pulse ox and a blood pressure cuff together as a package. But you can go online and get a scale, a thermometer, a glucose meter, what else? EKG. There's so many other peripherals that go with this. But check this out. I'm going to just turn it on.
Your data has been successfully transferred.
And that's it. So this goes into a portal, and it basically is really meant for physician groups to manage the chronic care management program for remote patient monitoring, and then they can literally bill Medicare for the 20 minutes for all the CPT codes. And it also has the ability to video chat with this device with your physician. So there's a camera in here, and it has the ability to contact your provider and tell them that you want a video chat. And it also has reminders, and it'll say time to take your medication, and then you press here. Let's see, this was last night, I didn't. So the person would just literally press this, and then it goes into the portal and it tracks compliance. So if someone didn't take anything, or if their blood pressure's out of whack, that it goes, you set the thresholds for blood pressure and glucose and all these things. It red flags in the portal, and people can be reached when, if there's an issue. It also you can send mail to it. It's cellular, it's Wi-Fi, and it has all the portal and all this functionality built in. So that is basically the outline of all of the products that I currently feel that are the best out there. And again, I've got direct contracts with these manufacturers, so my pricing is as good or better than anyone else is going to get, where I can go out and I'll service these if they need it. I just replaced a pendant lanyard for someone because it was scratching her neck. She just didn't like it. So I swapped it out. Most other companies in this industry would charge like $50 to go out and do a service call like that. I do not. So I'm just running out there, and I'm usually, I mean, anyone that knows me, if they call me, I'm there. I drop everything and I run. So I've literally had a call where I'm there in an hour.
Thank you for all your help with our clients that definitely need this technology piece to keep them safe, along with home care.
Yeah, and I appreciate your support. And listen, I mean, we're all in this together to help people as much as possible and keep them what I call thriving in place, right, for as long as possible. This is what we do together. This is how we make it happen.
You are right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time and your expertise. Thank you.
It is my pleasure.